Welcome to the Split Line Off-Road Podcast.
Are you ready to go GNCC racing? Fans running to the fences, side by side. Boards gets a better line.
Oh boy, we got wheel to wheel right here, string. Oh, and Stu Baylor right behind him.
Russell gonna try to dive bomb down to the inside. No, can't get the line he wants. Duvall is in control. We open back up. Here comes Neal once again. He's going for the pass. Oh, the bumping going on.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Split Line Off-Road Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Rodney Cooper, and with me today, as always,
Brandon White here, guys. What is up?
Today we have a special guest in studio, second time in studio, Devin Masters. What's up, buddy?
I actually was able to make it in this time, so
Yeah.
we're ready.
The truck hauled you in all the way?
It did.
Not just half the way?
Nope.
What happened last time?
When I got it back from the shop, they gave me like this big list of stuff that was fixed. So
Oh, nice.
You gotta like those shops. The
Yeah.
shop
Yeah.
list, like, your tire need replaced, your alternator. It was.
They shut off because your tires didn't have enough air pressure, huh?
the lug nut was dirty.
Oh, there you
that's
go.
what it was.
There you go.
You gotta love those.
Hey, we got a good episode coming up tonight, guys. We got Jay Shadron coming on the show. We got Duvall coming on the show. We're excited to talk to those guys.
Oh, yeah.
They got two cool stories coming up. Thad, not so much. He's come back from injury, so excited to hear how much progress he's made. Jay, he's got a really cool story I'm excited to talk to him about. But before we get any further, we got to thank our awesome sponsors, Guts Racing. Since 1985, they've been a leader in seat innovation and technology. Best in the business when it comes to seat covers, seat foams. You got them on your bike. You got them on your bike. I got them on my bike, and you guys need to get them on your bike.
Yep.
If you guys don't trust us, trust people like Thad Duvall coming on the show tonight.
Yep.
Joe Hetrick, who killed it down at Three Palms this weekend.
Yep.
And get yourself on board with one of those. We also got Seal Savers, the best fork guard protection in the world.
Yep.
The world. Yep. So if you want to protect your forks, if you want to protect your springs on your ATV or on your side-by-side, heck, if you want to protect your forks on your mountain bike,
Right.
Truck even, you can do it with Seal Savers. And you can save 25% on anything on their website using the discount code SPLITLINE Off-Road, capital S on the split line. Yeah, so make sure you guys check those out for sure. We also have Sunstar chain and sprockets, best chain and sprockets made.
Oh, yeah.
Made from I can never get it out of my mouth what they're made out of, but it's strong.
Case hardened steel.
Case hardened steel.
There you go.
It is the best chain and sprockets out there for sure. We also got to thank our new sponsors, XC Gear. We just gave away a Mako 360. It's going to be on a TRX 450 this coming weekend at the GNCC probably. Yeah. So that's pretty awesome. So thanks to them for coming on board. We also got to thank Mountain State Hair Scrambles. Devin killed it at the Mountain State Hair Scrambles this past weekend, taking second overall with a bike that. How much of the bike did you leave on the track?
Probably at least 50%, maybe
of the bike.
75%.
Yeah, a couple tires, steering stem laying out there, and he still ended up finishing second overall.
If they could bring back my lug nuts, that'd be cool.
Yeah, if you haven't got a chance, go to Devin's page, look him up on Instagram or Facebook. He's got a slow motion video where you can see major rear tire wobble. How close to the finish line were you at that point in time?
That was literally the last turn to go down the hill to the finish.
Yeah.
But I rode like a little over a lap with the tire doing that. So the whole last lap, I was just like, stay on and we'll be fine.
Yeah, it's a wonder that lug nut or that stud didn't snap because that tire was wobbling like that. Yeah, so a lot of good stuff to talk about tonight. We don't have any fantasy to talk about except for the upcoming fantasy, which you guys need to be playing split line off-road,
which a lot of people
GNCC fantasy.
A lot of people's already putting them in.
A lot of people's already putting them in, hedging your bets early this week.
Right.
Yeah. So, but because you know what's on the line for this week.
What's on? Oh, the Sunstar chain and sprockets.
Sunstar chain and sprockets on the line this week.
I don't even pay attention because I can't win. And it's bullcrap.
Yeah, you're not allowed to win.
I know it's bullcrap.
You would have won the first one.
I know.
but you didn't.
That's why I got mad and started sucking it up a little bit.
Oh, that's why you haven't won again? Yeah.
Hey, I'm still in the lead, though.
Yeah. Devin, how are you doing in fantasy?
So I missed Florida and Georgia just because there wasn't a whole lot of service, and I forgot to put them in. And I did last week, and I did okay with last week. So I think that brought me up a little bit, but I was like right around top 10 for last week's results. So
yeah,
as long as we can keep doing that.
Yeah, you got to pick those guys that are right on, maybe on the outside of the top 20.
Devin ever picked himself?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
We have a little segment dedicated to this here in a minute.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we have a poll up for Devin.
I seen that.
Yeah. So, because I mean, the thing is like, dude, you're killing it on the stalker. You're killing it on the practice bike, and maybe having a little bit extra to desire on the race bike.
We were just talking about that for you came in late. And,
I did come late. That's why
I threw you under the bus there. No,
that's why we're on a few minutes late.
We were talking
guys.
about that. We were talking to suspension talk. Try to help figure it out over there, but it sounds like you might have a plan.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, so I don't know how long you guys want to wade into this episode or not, but
let's go
live. We might as well
let's
see what it's doing.
Let's see. Okay, we'll see what the poll's doing. Right now, it looks like you're taking the duct tape machine to the races. 59% say take the practice bike. 41% say take the race bike.
Hey,
that is way more drastic than earlier because it was like 75.
It was. We'll see what it's at the end of the show. If you guys haven't voted, go on our Instagram and vote now.
You can't listen to those people out there. They don't know what they're talking about.
They don't know what's best for you. Only you know what's best for you. So what's going on, man? Since we've had you in last, you've raced three local series, 2 new East Coast XC series, and then 1 Mountain State, and you've gotten second overall in all 3 races.
Yeah, I keep chasing the gator around, and somehow he keeps getting away every time. I need to
slippery gator, huh?
Yeah, I gotta get something figured out there. I don't know what we'll do, but I was messing with him over the weekend actually on Sunday. And I was like, man, I'm getting tired of finishing second to you. And I said, we got to do something. He said, what are you going to do? Switch to Honda? I said, whatever it takes to beat you, that's what we're going to try to do.
Hey, I have a Honda sitting down in the garage. It has a nice split line logo on the side of it. If you want to take it to one of the locals and see what it'll do. Well, I know I couldn't put it in the second place position.
Somebody's got to ride that thing.
Somebody's got to ride it.
I don't know. I got people pulling me everywhere. A lot of people want me on Yamaha, but
that's the way to go.
We'll see where it goes in the future, but right now we're still in the Suzuki's. Maybe someday.
The Suzuki looks good on you. It's unique anymore, really. Like, there's how many Suzukis do you see on an average GNCC day? Like probably 2 or 3, maybe.
I don't know. I think there's only 10 of them left, and I own half of them. So.
Hey, turn around a little bit, just so everybody's not looking at the back of your head. Scoot your chair around a little bit. There you go. Yeah, everybody's looking at the back of your head. I feel bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on a minute.
We got to make sure
you got to make sure you can see the new hat.
Yeah.
You got the Gatos Racing hat on.
There you go. He
got my name on the back.
He just commented actually if they have a poll as well on their racing page whether you should run the stalker or the race bike.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a group message going on through the team, and they've actually started their own poll, and they're
all Yamaha, right?
Most of them. There's a lot of Yamaha, and then we have Toby Hughes on a Honda.
Yep.
And a couple of the guys, but they started their own poll, and most of them actually voted for. They voted for me to ride the stalker too. So we'll see. We'll see where we're going here. The poll is out.
Let me ask you: Do you feel more comfortable on the stock bike, or is it just like you're at local competition and like what do you feel like you're actually faster on or more comfortable on, I should say?
So results speak, I guess, and I've been getting second overall at the locals, and Adam McGill has been the one to beat me all 3 times. But that's not to say
decent competition, just decent.
But that's not to say that it wasn't a earned second overall. Like over the weekend, me and Nathan Dearborn were on each other the whole time at roughly almost 4 hours of racing. I think both races were right around an hour and 45, hour and 50 minutes. It came down to 12 seconds on one day and 11 seconds on the other day. And it basically came down to a mistake in the last, half a mile of the race, both days, where Nathan just had an unfortunate thing happen or we would have been bumping each other into the finish. So
that's awesome.
It definitely makes it a lot more fun. And we're hoping to keep that up at the locals and keep battling each other hard like that. And maybe with us battling that hard, we'll be able to keep on catching up to Adam.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, I mean,
tell Adam if he ever wants to win a championship, he needs to get on Yamaha.
Or Suzuki.
Yeah, or Suzuki, because they're the only two that's ever won besides, in the 4-stroke days, besides the 250R days. But
Brandon, we'll get him in studio one day. We'll have you tell him that he'll come across the table.
He might come across that.
Doug Kirk says turn back around the back is a better view. So, come on, Doug.
Hey, that's probably true.
I don't know, man. I'm digging the beard. The beard's, I don't think you've trimmed it since we've seen you last. It's, three race podium streak.
Maybe I need to keep the beard. I don't know.
Yeah, don't do what Bryson did. Don't do what Bryson
did. He won
did.
After that, though. He won.
Yeah, he won, but the beard was sick.
The beard
was sick.
To go back to your original question of whether I'm more comfortable in one or the other, I mean, I've got decent results on the stock one. I got a top 5 at the Nationals. At Big Buck, actually, I ran the stock one for the first National of the year, and I got a top 5 in Junior A. But on the flip side of that, we don't have much seat time on the national bike. And, we're running custom axis this year, and Micah is really helpful on trying to get things dialed in. And we're trying some things out to make it more comfortable for me. So I think it's awesome he's willing to work with me like that.
Yeah.
So if anybody out there is looking to get some suspension done, definitely hit up Micah at Custom Axis, and he'll get you hooked up, and he'll continue to work with you until you're happy with what you got. So we'll see if he can get me tuned in, and then maybe things will change on the national bike. So
yeah, that's awesome, man. No, we're in your corner, and we're excited to see how you continue to improve. And I tell you what, 3 good races here at home, that's got to put confidence in your corner going into a national series. Because I mean, it's local, but these local races, there's a lot of fast guys that show up to them.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's fast on any given day, and we're all pretty close. I mean, obviously, Adam beat us by a minute and something, and that's not super close. But when you consider who you're racing, that's pretty good.
Then you consider who you're racing and how long you're racing them. You're racing for an hour and 45 minutes. That's pretty close.
Yeah, it's almost the same length as a national. But the rest of us in that class, we're within 30, 40 seconds of 5, 6 guys being that close. So one mistake from anybody is a bad day, because then you're just letting people get away, or you're letting somebody catch back up to you. So it's super close right now, super competitive, and it makes it way more exciting that way. Seth comes out. Seth's really competitive. They actually just did the Tuesday toolbox on him.
Yeah.
And he's going to be a tough competitor at the Nationals, but we're just going to try to tag on and see how it goes. And maybe we'll see in my fantasy picks this weekend after some of the results we've been putting in. Maybe I'll start picking myself.
There you go.
There you go.
Hedge your
Just let me
bets.
know when you're feeling good. Send us a message so I can pick you.
We know what we should do for the podcast, or for the fantasy. It's like, if you pick yourself, it's like a bonus 5 points.
It's like a bonus.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you get in the top 20.
I got you.
Yeah. So it should be, right? if you've not been in the top 20 so far this year, and you pick yourself, throw them.
Is that kind of like was it the football player that was betting for his team or something as he was playing? Did you see that?
You talking about? Who you know about?
I think it was for the Titans or somebody, or the Falcons. I don't know. One of them was betting on, was putting bets on the game or something like that for them to win or lose. And
I'm not sure about that.
I don't know if he could bet himself or not. I mean,
if it was for the Titans, he was probably betting to lose.
Now, if you're betting yourself to lose, that's pretty bad right there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So speaking of the Mountain State Heritage Gambles, we got to give a huge shout out to Adam McGill for winning the overall ATV, and then also Ezra Prine for taking the bike overall.
He's been killing it in the GNCCs as well.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, so it's cool
really
to see him here and running a Mountain State. How rough was that track?
It actually wasn't bad for us in the first lap or two. There was 1 or 2 rock gardens, but as the race went on, there was definitely more rocks showing, and it got rougher as we went.
I know that place gets pretty rough.
Yeah, but it was probably actually one of the nicer mountaintop races we've ran, as far as being smooth. I know in the past we've ran some pretty big rock gardens where they were like boulders and not just rocks, but it was fun. I thought it was a good time, and I don't know. It would have been nice to keep my hill guards and my wheel
You see,
intact.
you see what Darren Good said? He said, "Don't worry, he's got your oil and hill guards covered."
Well, the foot pegs and hill guards are still on my national bike getting worked on right now. So,
So did you guys go down the gully or up the gully like that? I don't know. I know we went down it the one year that I raced it, but there's like a big gully kind of like going down. It's like pretty nasty.
we went down it.
Then you went down it. Okay.
Yep.
I know he says sometimes he goes up it or down it. So
Yeah, we went down. We ran it back. Most of it was backwards compared to what we
usually do.
But the hill climb in the back was pretty fun. You could
Mm-hmm.
get a nice run for it the way that we ran it there. You came from up above, you'd come down the trail, you'd get a nice run up the hill. Me and Nathan actually got side by side on it a couple times.
Oh yeah,
That was
it's a
pretty
big
cool.
wide hill climb if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Yeah, so you had multiple lines you could go up there, and there was a lot more open field than usual to where we could actually make some passes out there too. So that was pretty nice. But
I remember when I was racing that series across the parking area, like right after that hill climb, you drop down over the hill,
Yeah.
and there was this steep drop off, and it 90 to the left, and I don't know how many people went over that berm and down over the hill further. I almost did it myself when I was there.
yeah, I mean, I've had really good luck there, and over the weekend it continued because somehow I got lucky enough for my tire to stay on. But I knew when we were coming into the finish and we hit the last couple field sections, and I had a little bit of gap going into the last lap, but I slowed down a little bit to try to keep the wheel and stuff on, and I was able to hold them off in the woods. And I knew when it came to the last field section, it was either make or break.
Yeah.
So we hit the field, and I was like, all right, we're just going to run it wide open, and it's either going to fall off or I'm going to ride it in on the hub.
Also want to give a shout out to Hunter Jones. That's Bub Jones' son.
Okay, yeah.
He actually, I think he got the overall from row 3, or came close to getting the overall from row 3 in the little bikes class. And so he's actually one of our sponsored riders for them. So, hats off to that little man for having an awesome ride at the Mount St. Harris Scramble this weekend.
Yeah.
So second overall. So congratulations, Hunter.
Right.
Yeah. Definitely.
Doing
Definitely
good.
keep up the good work.
That's
Put a
right.
good name out for us there.
Yeah, he is.
We picked some good riders.
Shoot.
Did anybody see Brendan Polling's post, by the way?
No, I did not.
So apparently him and Ezra were battling pretty good at the race, and he had hit a lapper at one point, and it smashed his finger in between his handlebar and the other person.
Oh,
is
yes,
what
I
he
did
said.
see it.
And it cut the end of his finger.
Yeah, I think I did see that. He had a pretty good gash on the end of his finger.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty bad.
go on them wraparounds, right?
I don't like the wraparound. You fall in and break your wrist. And,
Yeah, okay. Brayden, how was your weekend?
It was good, actually. It was good. I thought I was
Full
going
gas sprint
I
enduros.
thought I was going to skate under because I don't really want to
never.
tell you who beat me this weekend.
Never. I know. We know who beat you.
No.
Don't know his name, but we know who he was riding.
Yeah. The 700 Tenere beat me.
Did you see the videos of that
By,
bike riding around the full gas?
I didn't see it.
Big bike.
Dude was cruising. Okay. But he beat me by, I think it was like the overall by 0.05 tenth of a second for the for second. But dude could ride that bike, man.
And it's two-wheel drive.
Yeah, it's
I'm just joking.
I don't
Probably
know.
not.
I keep telling myself, I'm like, man, he had an advantage somehow, but he really doesn't. His thing was heavy, he was big, but he could ride,
more power to the ground, right? Less spinning.
I would say he's not spinning as much, but who knows? But no, it was a great track, man. It was a great weekend. We all had a good weekend. Colton struggled a little bit. He had a pretty, I don't want to say nasty get off, but he had like a MotoGP get off in the grass track. He, it was still morning. It was like 8 o'clock in the morning. The grass was kind of dewy, and he was charging and hit the rear brakes a little too hard going into the turn and did one of those 360 spin out sliding against the ground. But he already picked his bike back up and took back off. But it was actually a really good learning experience for him because, last few races he's been up on the podium and he didn't make the podium this time. So we have to, push past that, learn to grow and not you don't always win or get an award. So it was good for that. And Jonathan had a good weekend. He got 4th overall in his class. I took 3rd overall in mine. Full gas sprint Dora, man, they've been putting a heck of a series on this week in everything, or this year, sorry, not this week, but everything was good. Everything was real good.
Awesome.
Track was fun. My favorite part was the motocross part. Get a little bit of air. And
did you give anybody some split line shirts down there? Couple?
Two. Actually, two.
Nice.
Two.
Nice.
Yeah. So
spreading the word.
We're getting there.
I wish they would let us run some of the motocross at like GNCC.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to bring that up on a topic if we needed something to talk about, but it was good. I need to go ride with you guys in the woods a little bit. That's where I was struggling. I need to get out in the woods just a little bit more.
Well, I'm thinking maybe you guys could teach me something about motocross, because the only thing I know how to do is give it gas and then hope for the best.
That's pretty much what we know how to do too.
Maybe you. No. Got to practice that, tapping the rear brake in the air, get a little comfortable.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I totally hit the back brake in the air.
Do you?
No.
What I want to learn how to do is like throw a nasty whip and pull a tear off while I'm doing it. Like,
like a
Joel
John
Hetcher
Glotta.
thing.
Yeah,
John Galata.
Yeah.
We need to get him on here sometime.
We do.
That kid is ridiculous. We actually had him scheduled, or we were almost had him scheduled one point in time. It didn't work out after the Heartland Challenge.
Yeah.
But we need to get him on here, and he's got, I'm going to say, top style.
Oh, yeah.
Top style award goes to John Galata.
I said most talent with things to do on a four-wheeler is definitely him when it comes to everybody on the front row. He can do more things with a four-wheeler than
he makes it look. He makes the bike look about 100 pounds lighter than it is.
Yeah, it looks like he's throwing a dirt bike around out there.
It really does.
What is going on?
It really does.
Rastrelli's really good at that too. Like,
yeah, but I mean, you expect that from the motocross guys, right?
Do you remember like watching that Butter video?
Yeah.
When he was on that Can-Am and dude had it like almost
Rastrelli on a Can-Am?
Yeah, that's back when he rode Can-Am. Yep. Sheer wine. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, you're
Trust
right.
me. No, I know my ATV motocross stuff pretty good.
Well,
besides one bear, no one knows. Anyways, that's an in-house secret.
Keep that hush hush.
Yeah, that's hush hush. No, but man, he was like, he could take that bike and like almost upside down.
Yeah,
it was insane.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Hey, before we get into our first guest, Jay Shad coming on the show. Yeah. Competitor of his last year. Yeah. I want to give a shout out to Hunter Johnson. We shared, he's got some health issues going on, and we shared his, they had a little page put up for him, just to help him out a little bit through some times. Make sure if you check out our page on Facebook, we shared it there. If you can help. Dude's an awesome dude and a listener of the show. So, we appreciate him listening and get better, man. And we're in your corner for sure.
Yeah, prayers coming your way, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So let's get into it. Man, this guest coming up, Jay, he's got a really cool story going from pro class or skipping XC2, in the original time that he started racing, skipping XC2, go straight to XC1, top 10 guy all the time, took some time off from the sport and then ended up coming back last year and running the A class, and put on a really good performance and then just didn't let off. This year, he has been killing it. So I'm excited to get him on and talk to him.
Yeah, you want to talk about not letting off, man. Maybe you should try to get on the track behind him and see what it's like.
I bet.
You try to keep up with him and you're not doing it.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm going to give him a call right now and we're going to get him on. And
should be good.
Yeah, it should be good, man. Was it 4 straight so far?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, Jay.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you, man? This is Cooper and Brandon and Devin Masters in the studio with us. How you doing, man?
Good, real good. How are you guys?
Oh, not too bad, man. Thanks for coming on the show. We appreciate your time tonight.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. So, first off, just talk about this year real quick. You've been absolutely killing it from line 2, XC2, this weekend, going to look to going into your 5th straight win of the year. Man, congratulations on the solid start.
Yeah, thanks, man. I've been really working hard at this year, putting a lot more effort in it. Just everything, made a lot of changes to the program, and it's just really paying off. I'm really happy with how it's going.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. We got Devin Masters in studio here, and he was one of your competitors last year in the Junior A class. And we were just talking about your speed and how he was talking about following you through the woods last year a little bit.
Yeah, it's like impossible. You could say we were competitors, I guess, but I wasn't really much competition. So.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah. So Jay, what's your so I think everybody's curious to hear about the story. So I don't really know, but I don't know if you know, Coop, but what really made you take the break from racing?
Getting in that pro class, I mean, you don't really understand it until you're there, of how much time and effort and money and everything that it takes. You got to pretty much devote your entire life to being, if you want to be that top 5 rider, which I wanted to be the top 3, top 5 rider. I didn't want anything less than that. And in order to do that, it's got to be pretty much, you got to be devoted to it. You got to put all that time into it. That's got to be your complete main focus, not want to do anything else but that. And it just got to the point where it was too much of a job for me. I mean, I've had a full-time job since I was 15. Mm-hmm. So it's like working 50 hours a week, trying to do that, work on my own bikes. It was just too much. And I just really just wasn't enjoying it anymore. And then when the results started showing that I wasn't enjoying it, it was time to pull out.
Yeah.
Right.
Very understandable.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, when you were in the pro class the first time, you know, the story goes how you skipped XC2 and went straight to pro class. What was the reasoning behind doing that? And just take us through that decision, you know, way back then, and then, you know, your decision to do kind of like the opposite now, and taking the steps going into the pro class.
Yeah, that was back in 2013. I was running the College A class, and us top 3 riders, me, Cole Richardson, Marshall Goings, we were, anybody could win any race. I mean, we were in anywhere from 6th to 10th overall every race, all 3 of us, and we were already beating all the XC2 guys pretty much consistently every race. So it's like the last race, I was locked into a position where I couldn't advance anymore. So I just said, heck with it, let's move up and just see. And it was just a really good experience there at Ironman. We were pretty much running for a podium clear to the end. And I think I missed podium by 20 seconds maybe, and we got a 5th. So after that, it's pretty much just like, well, I can do this. Why even go to the XC2 and race the same guys again that I just raced this year? Let's just move up and see what we can do there.
Yeah, I mean, even when you watch your first year of racing, though, if you go back and check it out on the videos, how many times that year did you just get hole shots and check out from people? It was like almost every time.
Yeah, I had some really good runs for sure. And that was back when that carb that thing liked to start. That was for sure.
Which do you like better, carb or fuel injected?
Ever since I switched to a fuel injected in 15, I never once even sat on a carb bike again. So I knew I was switching, so I didn't want to get back onto it and then not like the new one. Yeah. I just kind of forced myself to like the new one. But all around, I think the EFI is a better bike, other than you're never going to beat a carb bike, obviously starting or in the tight woods. There was nothing like it in the tight woods. That thing, they could really cut the corners.
Nice. I never even really thought about that much in detail about carb versus EFI. That's really interesting, though, for sure. You know, going from, you know, the College A class and then straight to the pros, we hear a lot of guys talk about how when you go from XC2 even to XC1, it's just different. Like we see where a lot of guys, they can overall higher in the overall from XC2, and then when they get to XC1, it's just difference. Can you kind of like explain to us that difference? Because to the casual fan, it really doesn't make sense how you can do better from line 2 than you can line 1.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much, it's like you get up there in the front of XC2 and you just start pushing like as hard as you can, because you know those guys are there. And then as soon as you get sight of those guys, it's like you get that extra drive and adrenaline in you to just catch them. And then as soon as you catch them, you're already beating them by 40 seconds.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then once you get in that XC1 class, it's like a whole different world, having to run that pace the entire time in order to get that position. Like you could be 5 positions behind someone in XC2, and you have to be 5 positions ahead of that person in XC1 to beat them. You know, it's that's pretty much the difference in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, one thing I've always wondered, and it's pretty cool. What is the reasoning behind running the headlights? Because you've always that's kind of been your signature move, right? Running the headlights and keeping the headlights in the machine. And that's something that, like, watching Racer TV, even back in the day from your XC1 days, like, you would always know where Jay was with those headlights. Not only the headlights, but the headlights turned on.
Yeah, the blue lights. I mean, my dad started that back when he raced many years ago, and then whenever he came out, I kind of just took it over, and then that's always just been the thing. That's how people know it's me, and that's just like kind of my signature thing.
It really is cool because, like, I think of like snowshoe races where everybody looks the exact same, and then you see those blue headlights coming through, and it's like, oh, there's Jay.
yeah, it's crazy there. Especially some of those pine sections, you can actually see the lights reflecting off the ground. It's so dark in there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never thought about how you might actually have something there at snowshoe because of how dark it can get in those dense woods.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I need to put the headlight back on my four-wheeler. I don't know.
Oh yeah, Suzuki only got one.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the problem between the race bike and the practice bike. Practice bike still got the headlight?
No.
No.
They both have beeps.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to have to put a light bar on mine here pretty soon for the 9-hour race, though.
Oh,
I've never raced in the dark, but that's going to be pretty cool.
So, Jay, have you ever did any motocross or anything like that, or have you just been strictly woods your whole life? Or
when I was a kid, young, like when we first started riding, we actually started racing motocross, but that was back in like 50 and 90 days, back when I was like 8 years old. But then when we made the conversion, it's pretty much been woods ever since. But every summer I'll hit. There's a couple fairs that have motocross races. I'll go sign up. Race says, try to win a little bit of money. It's pretty fun to do.
Oh, yeah.
I like riding motocross, but I just really don't care to like race it.
Gotcha. Any big bucket races that you ever you have that you might want to try, go out west or anything like that, or just keeping?
Obviously, I'd say just about everybody's bucket list race would be a Vegas to Reno.
Okay.
I've always thought that was just the coolest thing ever. It'd be awesome to get the opportunity to do it.
That's what Devin's talking about over here.
Oh, is that what
Yeah, we were talking about assembling a team and going to run the Vegas to Reno.
Oh,
yeah. I'm not going to run any races around here. If I'm just going to run, just might as well run to that race, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we can get something going with Jay here. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's definitely the anchor.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Jay, talk us through, this year, this year's been kind of like a resurgence of your career. Well, last year was too, but have you found the fun in racing again, and what's different about this time around versus last time?
Pretty much, I can't take it too seriously. When I start getting too serious, that's when I start getting burned out. So it's just like trying to not put too much effort into it, but just do, like do enough to be where I need to be, more or less. But just like the biggest part's getting burned out. Like the stupid issues I've been having with my quad this year with sprockets and stuff like that. It's just like that stuff wears me down. It's just try to stay positive with it, and the happier I am, the more fun I have, and the easier it goes.
Yeah.
So do you do like mostly just riding training, or do you actually go to the gym and stuff now, or how do you do that? Because I know from my perspective, I get burnt out when I'm trying to like be on a bicycle every day or trying to like lift weights or stuff like that. But if I'm riding, I'm having fun. So
yeah, that's definitely tough, especially if you're by yourself and like don't have any group to do it with and try to motivate yourself. It makes it tough. But luckily, with my line of work, I get laid off in the wintertime. So I spent a couple months in Florida. My dad actually has a house right by Croom, so it works out to stay there all winter and ride with those guys, and it makes it a lot easier. But then once I'm back home, we're back to work and trying to fit all this in on working 14-hour days. It's tough, and real easy to get burnt out. So I hit the gym one day this week. I wanted to get some riding in, but it rains every single day. I try to at least try to get an hour in 2 nights a week riding. But other than that, just do some workouts around home. I have a treadmill, hit the gym once in a while. Not too crazy, not like a strict schedule. It's just when I can do it, I try to get something accomplished.
Yeah. And Now, do you feel like one thing that's really noticeable is it seems like in the last couple of races at the GNCC, you have actually been leading overall in the first lap or half a lap or whatever it may be as on time adjustment. You've been in the lead overall, pushing that pace. That's something that's like stands out. That's extremely impressive. Is that you just trying to set a pace and then manage the XC2 from kind of afar, or are you trying to push that pace the entire race?
It's been a bit of both. I'm trying to get up there, get away from the class. I like to get a decent gap, and so that way I have a little bit of room to, if I have to make a mistake by chance or anything like that, they're not on me and passing me. You know what I mean? I try to sprint and get away, but I try to get as far up as I can into the pro guys, and then if I could pace them guys, then it makes it a heck of a lot easier for the rest of the race.
Right.
Yeah. So if everything goes right and you get the XC2 championship this year, are we looking at XC1? Or are you staying down and repeating XC2, or if the whole program comes together, or how's that all working?
I've put a little bit of thought into it, not too much yet. It's really going to come down to, I think, what kind of deals I can get. It's going to be more of how much support it's going to be in either class or either way. I'm not torn either direction right now. It's going to be more of a support because it's getting real tough, especially the fuel prices and everything, and money's real tight. So It's just going to be support, really. That's a big thing, and especially for the quad side. For all of us quad riders, we all used to race quads sitting in this room, and Jay's on the phone. That's one thing we've all struggled with. I know Devin struggles. We struggled when we raced. Is like you don't seem like you get enough support for the quads. Everything's so much more expensive. Axles, tires, keeping bikes together, the bearings and stuff like that. So, I don't know how you guys do it. I really don't. Especially because most pros are work full-time jobs. Mm-hmm. Most of them do. They got to work on their bikes. They got to put it all together. It's like, how do you find? How do you keep yourself motivated each and every week doing that? I don't know. It's just when you race there and you do good, and you start being where you want to be. It's like you don't have another feeling like that, and that's pretty much just what keeps me motivated. Like you watch videos back at a race you did good, and it pretty much just gives you chills and just motivates you that much more to keep doing it. You just got to keep thinking about that when you start getting down, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I would agree with him. Like, I haven't had great luck at the Nationals this year, but I've had 3 good locals where I know I've rode pretty good and I've done pretty good. So for me, I keep taking, okay, well, I did good here, and I know that I have the speed because I'm still racing the same guys at the locals that I'm racing at the Nationals. So if I'm finishing with them or in front of them, that lets me know that I have the speed to do it. So when I go to the Nationals and I do have a bad day, on those bad days, you find out what you're made of, and you remind yourself of, I know I can do it. It's just a matter of doing it again.
Yeah, for sure.
So that actually brings up a good point. We need to ask him his thoughts. We asked Jay his thoughts. So we had a poll up because Devin has actually been killing it on the stock bike when he's been racing up here in West Virginia at the local races. We're talking 3 seconds in a row, and then not trailing McGill by too far. Now we have a poll up. Should he be racing that stock bike at the Nationals, in your opinion, Jay? Because that's the machine that's been taking him there.
Yeah, I see that. I don't know. That's a tough call. It's really just whatever you're more comfortable on and you feel that you can push harder on. If it's working, then roll with it.
He was able to bring it in for second overall with like half a bike left by the time he rolled it through the finish line this week. So, could you imagine what he could do with a full stock bike and 4 lug nuts on each wheel?
Listen, I already got this figured out. I got a tow rope ready. As soon as Jay takes off, I'm going to throw it out there and see if I can hook on and just let him drag me around the track.
Yes.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
So Jay, what do you besides racing and obviously with 14-hour work weeks, there's not much time left, or 14-hour work days, there's not much time left. What do you like to do besides racing? Is there anything that that interests you off the track?
Me and my buddies are big into the pit bike scene. I got a couple fully built ones. We love riding them. We got a couple different tracks built. I like that a lot. Summertime, do a lot of boating. Other than that, really, I mean, I like riding a Razor, hanging out, and other than that, it's pretty much motorsports related.
Yeah.
So when we're talking pit bikes, we talking 90 TRXs, or are we talking dirt bikes?
Dirt bikes. I don't got the TRX 90. As much as I want one, I can't spend $4,000 on a 90.
No doubt, no doubt. And those prices are only going up right now. It's insane what prices are for bikes right now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So have you gotten an invite to the Turkey Derby yet?
If I had a 90, yeah.
If you had a 90.
Well, they do dirt bikes too, don't they?
Yeah.
Oh, they do. I think are they all on all stock bikes though? I think
the dirt bikes.
Maybe I'm not sure.
Well, I know they run I know they run different classes. So I don't know if like there's like an all stock bike class and then like a mod class or how it works. But I know that they do both. And ever since they started that a few years ago, it's only gotten more popular every year.
I mean, I've rode some stock TRXs, and some of the stuff they're hitting on the TRX 90, I don't know that they're exactly stock.
Yeah, I see that. Some of them jumps are pretty big.
It's pretty impressive. Like those tracks that they lay out over there is wild for sure.
Yeah.
So what if we could get you a TRX 90 to run the Turkey Derby?
I'd run it, that's for sure. I'd love to do that.
I mean, I think this is something we should actively work on just to see if we
Dusty,
can get him going.
Dusty Geddes just said he would supply the 90.
Ooh.
So we got you a 90. We're all set up.
Well, that's actually who I was going to talk to.
So Dusty will supply the 90 and we'll supply the split line graphics.
That's right.
How's that sound?
That'll work.
There we go. We got rep and style. We got rep and style for sure. So you guys ain't got any questions?
I think we covered most of the questions that I had from my side.
So what's your favorite track on that we're running this year?
That's a tough one. I like Snowshoe a lot just because I always do very well there. But I'd have to say one of my favorites is Coker this weekend.
Okay.
I do have a question. Do you think you can put yourself in position to be in the first row at Snowshoe?
That's a good question.
I don't want to be, no.
Can you decline
it? I'd rather be second.
You'd rather be the hound than the rabbit? Or wait, that's how it works.
Yep, because there's just that little bit of time and you know you're going to catch that row in front of you and then you got the time on your side.
Yeah.
Are you able to like decline, like say, I'll go back a row? Are you able to do that?
I doubt that.
No, I think everybody would want to.
Right. I wasn't sure. I was asking. Never been there before. You know what I mean?
Now, that race is known for the possibility of winning from the second row, and then because they line up with the intent of having they line up with overall rather than like your race lines. Now, it's really a possibility to take the win from line 2 there because you have that time advantage. And, has that been something that's been running through your head there? Because, I mean, you are good at that track. It's always been a really good track for you. And you kind of would have an advantage from that second row.
Yeah, I mean, really pushing hard. I really, really want to push for a podium there this year.
Yeah.
I don't want to get my hopes up too much, but I think that we could put ourselves in a position to do that there this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got it figured out. We'll get Brian Wolf on the line and ask him what the secret is because he's done that multiple times from not being in the front row. He even did it on stock revalves.
Really?
Yeah.
That dude was an animal there.
Yeah, absolutely. And to all of you that play split line fantasy, pay attention to what Jay just said. He'd be a good pick for a snowshoe race. I don't know, but if you pay attention to our fantasy at all, like your handicap keeps going way down with all the high overalls you've been racking up so far.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, I've seen it's going down.
That's good. That's good for you.
That's good for you. Yeah.
Yep.
Bad for the pickers.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
So Jay, like Brandon was saying, this year if it goes good for you. Hopefully we get to see you try XC1 again. I would love to see you back up there with the kind of newfound love for the sport. And man, again, thanks for coming on the show tonight. Brandon, you got one more?
We do. We got the tough one.
That's right. The toughest question of the show. We can't forget this. So if you had to pick one fast food restaurant and one candy for the rest of your life, and that's the only two that you could have, what would it be?
Taco Bell and All Blue Sour Patch.
Man, he was he was the quickest answer that we've ever had.
Either he really loves Taco Bell and the blue Sour Patches. Is that what he said? Sour Patches? Yep. Either he really loves those, or he listens to the show a little bit.
He definitely did his research before he came on. He's like, all right, I know this question's coming.
I got to listen to one of these shows. So, hey, sand. Like this weekend, it's kind of the only track left that has any sand in it. What do you think about sand? Because you guys that train down in Florida in the wintertime, is it something that you enjoy riding in, or is it something that you really don't care for and you're kind of excited to get back north?
Oh, I love the sand, man. I could ride it every day of my life and not complain.
Really? See, yep. I feel like a lot of people don't say that.
Right.
Which is tougher though, Florida or Camp Coker? Because I feel like Camp Coker has like zero bottom to it.
Yeah, obviously Florida's gonna be more physical demanding than Coker I think could ever be. But yeah, if you get some rain at Coker, some of them spots do have no bottom, and it can get nasty real quick there. So you just don't get those deep sand whoops, and you get a little bit of breaks in some of the fields there at Coker that you don't get in Florida. So it makes it a little bit easier that way, in my opinion. Gotcha.
Well, hey, man, good luck this weekend. We'll be watching. We're not going to be there at this race, but we're planning on being which was the first race we're going to, Brandon?
I'm definitely going to the John first.
Yeah,
John
we're
Pitton.
going to the John Pitton for sure. So we'll catch up with you there. And like I said, good luck the rest of this season, man. And we'll keep in contact.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, man. We'll talk to you later.
All right. See you
later.
You guys are definitely coming to the close 3 after Indiana, aren't you?
Yeah.
There's 5 that are within like a couple
John
hours,
Pitton,
and we're coming
Mason
all 5
Dixon, Snowshoe, and the Mountaineer, and the Burr Oak. And Newburgh. So yeah, we got like after the Hoosier, like the plan is to be at almost the next 5 after that.
Yeah, I was just curious about before summer break, because we'll have 3 races and then we'll have summer break, and then that gives us a little bit. But then when we come back, we're still close to home.
Yeah, we'll be there. We'll be there for sure.
Yeah.
You need Pitt?
I mean, we got all kinds of people. We can always use an extra hand.
Listen, we don't need to be pitting. Someone needs to be getting his bike out and going riding.
Listen.
Right?
I mean,
I don't know. Is it dirty from like last year, or is that dirty from the last time you went riding?
That was dirty from last week.
That was dirty from last night.
If you noticed, my little turn track up here has been freshened up a little bit. I put like 5 laps on it the other day.
Yeah.
I did see some grass missing out there. So
that was just his dad riding the Razor.
You see the little excavator up here?
I did.
Yep, that's not ours, but they left the keys in it.
I'd be out there making some jumps or something.
I've been thinking about it.
We need to. That'd be cool.
So we do need to get you, man. The last time we were in, we talked about our Track 93 day. Mm-hmm. We need to make a day set in stone. What would be good for you? Do you feel like
we need to get out there and check out the woods and see how the quad? I don't know if anybody's been on a quad out there in the woods or not, but we need to check that out before we make a big ride day.
All right. So dirt bike guys say I'm crazy all the time, but I said, and my dad's always told me this growing up, if you can fit a dirt bike, we'll figure out how to make a fool of it.
Just a hard bumper just to run the saplings over.
Oh,
yeah, we'll just put it up on a bicycle.
Listen, I'll tell you what, dirt bike guys, I was really surprised. Like, I don't know if it was by accident on purpose, but in the Sprint Enduro, there's like these saplings. I mean, they're pretty thick, right? Like, I wouldn't want to hit them. Dudes are just plowing them over with dirt bikes. I'm like, oh my God.
Are they hitting them with the tire or the bars or what?
When I come through to things like laying over, I'm like, oh.
First couple caught it with their leg, and then when it was already pushed over a little bit, they just started running over.
Started running it over.
See, I can see hitting it with a quad.
Yeah, easy. Front bumper, just square it up and go. You know?
Have you ever hit a sapling and it whiplash you on the back of the head?
All the time.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate when that happens.
You get off the 4-wheeler and you got welts and stuff on you.
Yeah.
You guys going to High Point for ATV motocross?
Planning on it.
Are you going? You going? Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe.
29th.
You gonna run it?
April
Depends on
29th.
what we
April 1st.
You gonna run it?
Probably not.
Me and Jonathan's talking about racing it.
Yeah.
Do they have like super amateur novice
We
class?
got open sea.
How old are you again?
23.
Oh no.
No.
Yeah. No.
Mm-mm.
No.
They
Open
got-
sea.
Super vet class for me.
Open sea.
Like the schoolboy kids would probably embarrass me.
Oh yeah,
They're
those kids
fast.
are freaking fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're so fast.
Maybe I could race the youth class.
Youth class. Oh, those kids are fast too.
Well, I was just thinking they probably could get me on the jumps, but maybe if I hit a straight stretch or something, I might be able to get them back. So
Yeah. We keep talking about it. I keep throwing mine. Do I want to?
We'll get you out of track 93 first and let you hit some jumps a little bit and
Yeah.
I mean, I'll hit them. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
talk about that. Not like goon style, like where you're fronting up like and slap down.
Yeah, we can do some Ronnie Mac stuff if you
Yeah,
want.
there we
Running
go.
back. Yeah. Yeah. That's good
It won't.
stuff.
It won't be on purpose though.
So the next guest that we're going to have on tonight is Thad Duvall.
Oh, yeah.
We've had him on the show before. Excited to get him on, talk to him a little bit about what's going on with him, injury update, and then just, he's getting deep into the moto dad life. Have you been seeing his,
Oh, yeah.
his little boy ripping?
Yeah, I've been ripping.
He's been ripping around
Ripping
on the 50, hitting
Yeah.
some jumps. It's you can see hear like the whoo in Thad's voice
Oh,
whenever he hits those jumps.
Oh, trust me, when you get there and your kid's hitting the jump, you're just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Why are you hitting that?
Yeah.
Like, you don't even know how to hit a jump yet, but just send it.
I had Nolan all over the farm with his PW the other night, and he was getting the feels for it and
Mhm.
and hitting some little not jumps but like rough areas, and he just
Yeah.
I was like, you need to stand up a little bit if you're gonna hit that.
But I think the biggest thing is like what you can do on the bike, but you're not super 100% sure on what they
They
can do.
do, yeah. Like they see people do it, like, oh, I could do that like him, and watch YouTube videos, and then they go send it. And I'm like, just stand up straight. Don't-
Yeah.
but-
Oh, real quick, funny story. So Nolan was out in the yard riding his Stasic the other night, and he was having me do the 10 seconds so he could do a race and everything. And I saw him up by the trees, and he was sitting there and he was talking and everything. And I was like, "What are you doing?" He was like, "I'm talking on the podium." And I was like, "Oh, who are you thinking?" He was like, "I'm thanking Christian Craig for his help." And I was like, well, "Christian Craig."
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that because I usually mess around with Colton. I'm like try to loosen him up. I'm like, who you going to be today? You're going to be Stu Baylor. You're going to be Eli Tomac. You're going to be, who you going to be? And he's like,
I'm gonna be Rodney Cooper.
no, he said Christian Craig too. I
Did
was like,
he?
what? What's up with this Christian Craig stuff?
So, okay,
My kid likes Eli Tomac.
Yeah.
I'm just going to throw it out there. And he rides his Stasic around and stuff. He actually ran the Stasic race in Florida. And there was like this little hump before you go into the finish, and he was trying to jump it. But he was all excited there because he managed to win the Stasic race.
Mhm.
So he was pretty pumped about that.
those Stasic races are fun.
Yeah.
They're a lot of fun. I mean, they've been getting some huge turnouts too.
Oh, yeah.
And those kids are super competitive.
Yeah, they are.
They get more intense than what the actual racing during the day does.
The last one that Nolan did was up there at Snowshoe, and they had I think they kind of go with the flow with classes. Are they still doing that? Like however many kids they have, they kind of break them up into age group and bike size.
Yeah, so they're broke up into age group is what they've been doing.
Yeah. So like you said, they get pretty competitive. I think there was like 20 in his class.
Who would ever thought? Like throw a battery on a bike with some chain and
Yeah, it looks like a Duvall battery.
yeah, right. Just go. Like, why didn't we think of that?
I think it's awesome they let it do them. Like they let everybody do it for free, and they get their little jersey. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's a cool thing that GNCC does, and I think KTM is really heavily involved with it
Mhm.
as well. And it's just a cool introduction to racing and being on two wheels, and I mean it's great for the sport. And I Mountain State Hare Scramble is actually starting to do stuff with Stasic as well, and I think the New East Coast, I've seen them do stuff as well with the Stasics.
yeah, I think everybody's kind of getting into it now. And even at the Nationals, it's cool to have something to do on a Saturday night with your kids, because if you're not doing that, they're just kind of running around the pits and getting into all kinds of stuff. So it's cool to have something to break it up.
Yeah, for sure. So let's get Thad on the line. Excited to talk to him.
Oh yeah.
It's been a minute.
I think we can get Mama Thad mad if we talk about retirement or.
Oh gosh, that was
He's probably
our listeners' fault.
He's probably trying to get ready for hunting.
Turkey season.
Hello.
Thad,
What's going on?
how's it going, man? It's Cooper and Brandon from the Split Line Show, and Devin Masters is in studio with us. Hey, thanks for coming. Thanks for coming on the show, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah, quad guy in there. Come on, man.
Well, I mean, I started out on dirt bikes, and then I got real cool and I switched to quads. So.
Sounds like somebody else I know named Brady Myers.
No.
Yeah, I get to race with him every week. So
Yeah, I feel bad for you.
I feel bad for you.
I know he's pretty wild out there.
Yeah, I heard that. Sure.
So how you been, man? Start of the season was definitely not what you wanted coming in, and here we are now. How's the rehab going and getting back into normal shape?
It's going good. Just went to Florida for 2 months and busted my butt, and just to show up at the first race and make it like a lap and a half was quite the letdown for sure. But yeah, we were 6 weeks Monday into recovery, and it's going good. I guess as good as it's going to be. It was a pretty severe injury. I've been through a couple pretty big injuries, but this is by far has been the worst one for me. Just a lot of pain, discomfort, and just like a dark spot for a while, but it's getting better. Just still not really released to do much yet. Can do like physical therapy once a week, and kind of been going to the gym the last 2 days and just kind of getting back into things and just doing upper body stuff. Still not walking on my own either. Got to walk with crutches, and hopefully a couple more weeks I'll be able to walk.
Yeah, man. Yeah. We've seen all the stories, the Instagram stories that you've been posting, and it's cool that you've been able to keep everybody in the loop, because everybody was thoughts and prayers with you, and really everybody from that round, because it was just a kind of an insane day with all the guys that got hurt that day. But like you said, your injury was pretty serious, and we saw the X-rays just was the other day, and God, man, that's a lot of hardware.
Yeah, it's quite a bit of hardware. I don't think I'll be able to pass a metal detector like in the airport anymore. But yeah, it's like I got like I think we added up like a 7-inch like lag bolt in me.
Oh gosh,
the one thing. So yeah, it's been pretty gnarly. I got like a huge scar on my side, and I think there was like 50 staples in me. So it was quite the ordeal. And it's funny because like I've been through some injuries in my career and everything, and I never had a surgery until 2020 on my knee. And before then I had broke wrist and foot and everything. And it's like I jinxed myself, because I got surgery in 20 and I got surgery in 21 on my collarbone, and now I got surgery again this year. So it was a good like 20 some year stretch, and then it's been a really awful 3 years.
Yeah. Hopefully that's the
hopefully this one was the grand finale of the injuries.
They say they come in threes, and hopefully this is it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I was going to say, so to get you through those dark days, I'm sure the sun's been looks like he's been ripping around on that P-dub, man, making you probably smile a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. He's helped so much. Just I mean, I know a lot of people, like even myself, like I was like, man, like, do I want to keep doing this? Like, am I ready to retire? And it seems like every time I get hurt, like the first 2 weeks, I'm like, I'm done. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. And then especially this one was like miserable the first 2 weeks. And I told, like, I never really ever said anything like to my parents about being done, just kind of Maggie behind the scenes, like, hey, like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And I actually texted my dad and was like, hey, like, I think I'm done. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. And he's like, oh, like, I understand. And then we, like the first 2 weeks went by, and then I kind of started being able to get out of the house a little bit more and just go watch him ride. And then he come to me one day and was like, I miss going racing. And I'm like, I don't know. I was like, man, I can't be done. Like this kid loves racing. Like I want to be around the races. And he's definitely helped me get through it. And he actually makes me excited, like to kind of want to get back to racing. It's not going to be forever, but he's been able to see me have some success, and like I want to be able to him to see more of it. And I really thought coming into this year, like in Florida with Caleb and everybody, like I felt like I was really in the best spot that I had been in a couple of years, and I thought this year was going to be really well, and it obviously it's not. But the goal is to be at the last four. So with him ripping, and it's crazy, like to see the progression of him, and hopefully he can get to see me progress a little bit more, and then it's not going to last forever. So then he's next, and my wife was joking around like, hey, like this might be our last banquet year or whatever. And I'm like, this isn't going to be our last banquet year. We're like starting a new tradition. And she's like, oh yeah, I kind of forgot like with Jacoby. So yeah, he's crazy, man. He's like, he scares the shit out of me sometimes. Like it's bad. Like we went to a moto track on Saturday to meet up with some friends and stuff. And we were riding, and he was doing really well, and he just wants to ride. So like, I think he literally did like 3 30-minute motos, and like towards the end of the third one, I was like, I literally walked over to Maggie. I was like, hey, like I'm gonna stop him. I can tell he's like getting tired. He's starting to scare me a little bit. He's kind of getting a little careless. And I like literally walked over to the edge of the track, and he had to do one more jump, a right-hand turn, and then me. But like on that jump, he hit it wide open, sitting down like a 10-foot table. He like jumped like 20 feet to flat, endoed, saved it, and then floored both of his hands off the bars, and like had a huge crash. Like scared me. Like I was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
But he got up and cried, and we went home. And then the next day at 9 o'clock in the morning, he was wanting to ride again. So I was like, all right, man, that's.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Are you going toward more Loretta Lynn's dad, or are you going to stay at the GNCC?
I don't really know.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. Like everything is hard enduro right now. Like that's all he wants to watch on YouTube is just, I want to watch hard enduro. I want to watch hard enduro, and then like we'll be riding stuff, and he like wants to ride the Strider over logs and everything.
Yeah.
And
maybe he could maybe he could be like the next Billy Bold or somebody like that. Graham Jarvis might be Graham Jarvis.
That would be fine with me if he was like the next Billy Bolt, because that dude is gnarly.
Yeah.
Now, my question was, I've seen that you've been letting them like watch some old GNCC videos of old dad Chad out there killing it on the ATV. Like man, what if he's like, I want to be like Grandpa.
I want to be a quad rider.
I want to be like Grandpa racing the ATVs.
I'll probably have to put a stop to that.
I mean, we're all ATV guys. I think we would agree that if you're going for a career or money, then ATVs
is not the way.
Stay on the two wheels,
like,
boy.
I like growing up with dad. I kind of saw that like there was always more money in bikes, and I think, like I had a PW50 when I was younger and had a big crash on it and didn't want nothing to do with it. And I actually I grew up riding a quad. Till I was like probably 7 or 8 years old, and I went to dad one day. I was like, hey, like I think I want a bike, and then he like went that day and bought me a bike to like start riding on a bike, just because I think even back then there was like even more money in bikes too. So I mean, if he wants to ride a quad, go for it. I would be happy if he did anything other than race anything. Like I play golf or play baseball, like I'd be fine with it, just because like I've known what I've went through, like, and it like for me it kind of sucks knowing that he wants to do the whole dirt bike thing, and knowing that if he goes through anything like I have or other people have that I know, like it's going to be tough. Like so just like looking into the future with him, I'm like, man, this is going to be a rough road. And But I don't know. I mean, it's worth it in the end. I don't think I wouldn't change anything personally. Like, I mean, it's just something that I loved and I've been grateful to grow up doing and make it a career.
Yeah. And, we all have kids over here as well and go through the same thing with, because like my boy out in the front yard on the Stasic, and he's wanting me to drop the 10 seconds yell and then throw the flag for him and all that stuff. But then like you look and you see like what everybody, and especially the past couple of years, there's been a lot of gnarly injuries in the sport. And, you used to, you almost kind of looked at GNCC and was like, oh, those guys are,
it's more safe in the woods.
It's more safe in the woods. But now you guys have elevated the sport, which is to an insane level, to where you guys are pushing like moto style paces for such a long extended period of time that, when things happen, they end up happening kind of worse than they used to.
Yeah. But on to that, I was going to add on to that question. Do you think it's because of the bikes are better, or do you think you guys are just picking the pace up more?
Like, this has kind of been a gray area the last couple of weeks. I've seen just on social media and hear people talk, because I think there's so many of us that have gotten hurt. Like a lot of people, like they have their opinions, and I've seen it a lot brought up is like the tracks are getting too fast, or we've been at a place too many years. And I don't really think it's that. I think it's just a combination of everything. I think the bikes are getting so much better. I think a lot of I know the last couple of years I've put way more effort into training and being in the tip top shape as I can be. And I think a lot of the other guys are too. So I think it's like a combination of everything. Like the track, maybe the tracks are getting a little fast, but I think it's just because the bikes are getting so much better. People are testing more. People are working harder. People are like training every day for 3 months leading up to the year. So I think everybody's just in a lot more shape. And I think that's a combination of everything kind of going together is the pace has been crazy. Like I know, like even, I've been around the sport long enough. I've seen the transition from, U-Haul Solomon, the David Knight, to Charlie, to Wibbly, to Caleb, to, I would almost want to, I hate even saying, but me and Caleb, I think kind of elevated the sport a little bit when we kind of got together and was racing those few years. And like, even since then, I think the pace has even went up. I think it's just, I wouldn't say it's a full out sprint, but guys are putting in like 110% for 3 hours. And I feel like that's where like a lot of the injuries are coming from, because we're riding that edge more than what we usually do, like back in the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then something else that we've talked about on this show as well is like, now that you add the ability for you guys to have the e-bikes to get around the track so many times before the race even starts, you guys are almost able to put in the amount of time on the track that you would in a race before you even get out on to race the track. So I feel like that would only help the speed get that much faster with the ability to know the track from every rut to every turn.
Yeah, that's like another gray area too. It's just like we're like, I know, like from my personal experiences, like I'll ride the track, so the first lap is like I already know where I'm going 100 yards before where I'm even at.
Mm-hmm.
Like, from 2015 till now, it's the e-bikes have grown so much. It's like, from 15 to maybe 17, it was kind of like, like the first lap and a half to the first 2 laps, kind of feel the track out. But now it's just like, man, I know where I want to go before I even get there. Like, because we're able to cycle the track so much. I know what line, and even like when it's a little, like a race is a little muddier than usual, like I'll even still know, like, hey, like I know this line was good when I cycled it this morning, so I'm assuming it's still going to be good. So I'm charging like 110% into that section, knowing like, hey, like I know this line is going to be there. Like I'm going to take it if it's there.
Right.
So I think the e-bike has definitely elevated the sport speed, as in speed, and like that whole conversation.
I know you were going back to talking about how the speed is just elevated anyways, and you said you hated to even say that you were part of you and Halo bringing the speed up. But I can think back just from me watching races through the years. If you think back to it, I mean, you were one of very few people that straight up beat David Knight, and you did that on a 250 at one point. So I think you might need to give yourself a little more credit on that part of it. but I think you definitely helped elevate the sport. And I've had a bunch of people tell me even that coming to the e-bike world and, in future years, that they think maybe we should be more like the national enduros where you don't see the track and you just go out there and race it. So I didn't know what you thought about that either.
I honestly, I kind of like the national enduros because you don't really know what to expect. I mean, I kind of like that. It kind of levels the field a little bit. I feel like that's where Stu and Grant have always been a little better at reading the trail a little bit better. So I think that's where they've had a little bit of an advantage. And I feel like the national enduros being how they are now, like it kind of makes me a better rider, makes me more aware, makes me stay on my toes more, makes me like a little better on the bike, as in bike control, when to push, when not to push, like throttle, brake. I don't know. I wouldn't want to see that, but I mean, the way the e-bikes are growing and how big of us like a sponsorship they are, like I could see it happening in the near future for sure.
Yeah. And then another big topic that we've talked about on this show to no end, and I'm sure you've been around the sport so long that you've seen the growth in the growth in the sport has almost become, I'm not going to say a problem, but an added obstacle when it comes to the amount of lappers that you guys are encountering. And I believe somebody along the way said that most of the crashes that have happened this year with the top guys have been maybe not necessarily because of lappers, but in and around lappers where you've had to change lines or do something different. What's your thoughts on the lapper situation and where we can kind of go from here as a sport to try to make things safer for the premier classes?
I don't really know because I don't want to piss anybody off.
Don't worry, nobody listens to this show at all.
There's only the four of us on here.
Yeah, but honestly, it has gotten bad, which I understand. Like they're like our lappers are the people that make the sport happen.
Right.
Like, they are the reason that we're racing, the reason we have a career, like the reason we get paid. Like they're the weekend warrior. Like they make this stuff happen. Mm-hmm. But it's like, man, like for some reason, like maybe like the last year till now, it's gotten so bad, and it's like it's been hard for us to race sometimes. I feel like just because there's been so many lappers, and I always remember like it's been a couple years, but Unadilla was always so bad because the track was so short. There were so many guys, like so many riders, and I feel like nowadays, like I feel like every race is like that race with so many lappers. It's like you almost have to race the lappers instead of race the track half the time, because you got to be aware. Like if you're if you're leading the race, like you're the first one to come to them, so you got to be aware where they're going to go. They have to be aware where you're going to go, and like you have to race them instead of the track sometimes. And I feel like I've had a couple crashes just because I've had to change where I've wanted to go at the last minute, and I've clipped a tree or I think Big Buck this year when I crashed, I know a couple people, like I don't really remember much, but I think a couple people said it was because I had to change my line and I went somewhere where I wasn't comfortable going, but I had to because there was a lapper there. So I don't really know. And I know I've heard people say that like Stu took that line too, and I string clipped the lapper, and which I understand those guys are racing too. Like that's why I don't like try to be too impatient, because I have to understand that like they're the reason we're here. So, right. But on that topic, like I wouldn't say the lappers are getting worse. It's just there's so many people wanting to race now, like it's becoming an issue for us for sure. And, like I understand. I had a buddy a couple years ago who was a decent rider, like a 10 a.m. rider, but he raced the afternoon race. Like he was always one of like the first or second guys we always laughed. And I was like, why don't you just race the morning race? He's like, I just like, why do you race the afternoon race? He's like, just to say I raced the afternoon race with you guys. Like I want to be a PM rider, which in reality, he should have been a 10 a.m. rider. And I feel like a lot of the time, a lot of people in the afternoon class maybe have that mentality where they should be in the 10 a.m. race, but they're in the afternoon race. But I mean, at the end of the day, they're the guys that make us have a living, and I don't oppose to it. So it's another gray area, but I feel like if there is a lot of lappers, that's good for the sport. So I don't know, like it's a pro and a con situation for sure.
Yeah. And what's crazy is that you were only a lap and a half in when that accident happened. And that's, man, that's a half a lap is really not that. I mean, a lap and a half is really not that much time on a 3-hour race. I mean, you guys are,
but I mean, like we're literally lapping guys like within their first 4 or 5 miles.
Right.
Like, it seems like a lot of the times.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I know like a lot of the races, they've been shorter laps. So it's like, we're coming around and those guys are just getting off 5 minutes before we come to the checker. So it's like,
wow. I didn't realize it was that many lines. I mean, I knew it was a lot of lines, but man, that's wild.
Yeah. Like, some of the bigger races that have a lot of riders, they have to kind of split the rows up a little bit. So yeah, it's like, we're lapping some guys our second lap that they're 4 miles in on the first lap.
Wow.
So how do you feel about Stu's idea of running all of the pro races on Saturday and then you can have the amateur races on Sunday?
From a fan's point of view, I particularly love it.
Right.
You get that would be so cool to get, because I've always thought that the bike guys, when it comes to it, the fans, they kind of get, you guys kind of get the short end of the stick because everybody's already ready to go home and get out of there by the time you guys get going. So if we could get everybody on Saturday, could you imagine the amount of people that would draw to the race?
Well, I think that was Stu's point, is like, on one hand, you're solving a problem with the lapper problem where everybody's getting injured right now. And that's one of the common things that comes up when they talk about why they wrecked or something like that. But then he was like, you don't have to change the ATVs or anything. You can run all of the pro races on Saturday. And I think he wanted to run like some of the mini races on Friday, I think was his plan. But he was like, if you put all of the pro races on one day, you can do one live stream. Everybody gets to see all of the racing on one day. And then you could have your amateur racing the next day. But I think his big thing was like, you get rid of the injuries and you bring more money to the sport for both ATVs and dirt bikes.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to agree with that. Like, for sure, I feel like that would bring in more revenue for both us, like bikes and quads, because like you were saying, like we kind of get the shaft. I really noticed that, like snowshoe, like Howard Toll. There's thousands of people there on Saturday, but then Sunday, like you go through that, there's like 100 people that are left hungover. Like they don't want to help you. They don't want to help you. Right. But yeah, like I think it's a good idea. Like, will it ever take an effect? That I don't know. But I think, with that concept, I feel like the racing maybe would be better, as in for like us bike riders. I think the racing would be closer, because I feel like a lot of the times, like by the time we race, the track's so old and so rough, you kind of have to be like kind of strategic about your plan during the 3 hours. So it's kind of like you're kind of like, I don't know, racing different parts of the track. So I feel like if the track was less speed up there, it would be a better race. Everybody would kind of be on the same level. So everybody would be the same speed, instead of being, one guy's really good when it's ruddy, but it's not very good when it's flat. And it kind of opens up the level, like to open up the field for everybody to be really good. So I feel like the racing would be really, really good and a lot better if we did put all like the pros on one day.
While we're bench racing this idea, how much different do you think the track would develop if you guys were able to see the track right after the ATVs? Because how much different it is compared to when the AM runs it. We know how different your pro lines are versus amateur lines. But if you guys got, like you said, a fresh track with just ATV lines, how different do you think of a developed race would it be?
I would hate it, honestly, because I grew up in a time where the youth racers raced Saturday afternoon after the quads. So we were always having to break in those quad ruts into bike ruts.
Yeah.
And I always remember hating it. So I'm assuming I would probably hate it. But I don't know. I think that the track would shape up a lot different. And I think it would shape up kind of crappy for the amateur racing, just because I'm not saying it as in me, but I think when we go to Florida, when we were in Florida this year, there was there was me, Trevor, Craig, Ben Kelly, Johnny, and then Joseph sometimes. So it was a lot of fast guys that were pros, and then you had 2 amateur kids, and it seemed like the amateur kids really struggled to ride our lines because we would sweep the turns and they would kind of float into the trees a little bit. So when the amateur racers, they try to turn as soon as they can. So I feel like that's why a lot of the times the corners for bikes are so far inside, and then by the time we get done, it's kind of roll the turns, they're kind of smooth. So I feel like we would make the track really good, but it would be kind of crappy for the next guy's Sunday morning to race it.
Yeah, that's one thing in full gas that I've been running full gas sprint enduro series this year, and one of the lines of GTR literally was the first time I took it, I was literally I hit my shoulder off the tree. It was so close to the tree. That's how far inside it was. That was insane. Didn't take that line again.
I feel that's where I think we would make the lines maybe roll the turn more instead of having to be in so sharp. I feel like that's just because we go into turn and we lean the bike over farther than what amateur guys maybe do. Yeah. And I know that's what the amateur kids struggled there. They would go through the turn and kind of clip the outside of the tree because they weren't really laid over. I guess they weren't carrying as much speed as we were.
Yeah.
Do you think that could be an area though, where if the track was shaped up like that before they go out there, it would kind of force them to get into better riding habits?
Yeah, maybe it would. I'm not sure. I don't really know.
Probably not.
I think it. Probably.
Amateur guys literally go to the inside of the turn. I promise, every time. Shortest way around. That's the way they go.
Yeah, and there would be I think there would be so many amateur guys. I think it would they would get their own line. It would burn in as soon as they could.
Yeah.
So back to the training part. So do you see the sport? Because you said you've grown up in it. You've seen it all. I feel like now, so in the motocross part, you see all these training programs, you see all these camps, you see everybody going riding. It hasn't hit the GNCC so much, but I see it slowing. Do you think that's going to be a big part of the GNCC world? Is more camps for them and more riding schools and people dropping out of school to not drop out of school, but go to homeschool and to do that more?
Yeah, I think so. I believe so. Just knowing how the sport's progressing, and I mean, GNCC is just so big right now, and offer it in general. You look at, there's 2 different sprint, full gas, U.S. sprints, national enduros. National enduros making a big push to come back, to be big again. GNCC is huge. You see, there's been quite a bit of international people coming over. Joseph, Holcomb. There's people coming from the West Coast. Brandy Richardson just came over. She about won the women's class. So there's a lot of interest in GNCC and off-road right now. So I feel 100%. I feel more kids are going to be, pushing to be at a better level. Which it's kind of cool to see the progression of the sport, and even just the progression in general, like how much the STASIC has helped kids nowadays, like just like through Jacoby, like I've looked to see how much him riding a STASIC has helped him ride a dirt bike. And, kids are going to be super fast nowadays. Like it's crazy. And I think it's like the GNCCs, it's been a couple years since I feel like somebody has really come through like the whole GNCC scene, like from youth to amateur to pro. And I feel like you're going to see a lot more of that now, like a kid coming all the way up through dominating and being the next big thing. And I believe so. Like I feel like a lot more kids are going to be homeschooled. There's going to be more kids training with like trainers. I think 100% like this is going to grow as in camps for sure. And
the reason I was asking that is because I saw that you're going to start working with some mini riders and beginner riders. Is that right?
Yeah, like I've had a lot of people reach out to me in the past, like, hey, like want to do schools or anything, and I just like I've never really had the time to do so, and now I got a few months before I can really do anything, and like kind of getting a little older, like I kind of want to give back, like so I'm like like the interest is there for me to help kids, and I've even had even a couple faster guys reach out like, hey, like wanting to help or whatever. So I think that's cool. Like an advanced rider coming to me being like, hey, like, can you help me? Like that's kind of cool to me. Like to have that, like somebody like that want me to help them. But like I think it's cool. Like I've had way more people reach out to me than like what I anticipated. So it might be like a cool thing to do for a while now. Like even after racing, I know Stu's really good at it. He's done it for quite a while now, and just see the feedback that he gets from it. So like I feel like a lot more people are going to start doing that for sure.
Thad, it's crazy because you can think like that here 10 years down the road, if you're like full blown trainer, you go get kids in there, they're going to be like talking about STASIC, like how I grew up on, and you're like, oh, I didn't have that when I grew up. Can you imagine? Because it's the future. It really is. And we see these kids riding the STASICs and the form that they're riding them with, it's just incredible how they're teaching themselves great form on such a like light piece of equipment that they really can't hurt themselves on.
Yeah, it's crazy like to see the kids nowadays, like with Jacoby, we've been getting up and going to watch the micro race on Saturday morning, and even like Big Buck, we got up and went and watched. And dude, there are some fast kids. Like it's crazy. Like it's pretty wild to see like the progression, and to see that's awesome. Like I think that's really cool and really, really good for the sport, just because I feel like it maybe 5 years ago it kind of died off a little bit with the kids and stuff. You kind of seen the numbers go down, but it seems like the last couple of years, like the youth racing is booming. Like there's factories getting into it, and I know like KTM and Husky, they sponsor a couple kids, and I feel like there's Yamaha is sponsoring a couple kids now, and growing up, that's where it all started for me. I was 11 years old, and Yamaha came to me and was like, hey, like we want to groom you, like we want to start sponsoring you now to groom you up to be the next XC1 champion. And I was with them for quite a while. Like they grew me into a pretty well-rounded rider. I won a lot of championships with them, and I feel like the guys now, like the factories, are doing that again. So that's really cool to see, and that's why I feel like a lot more kids are going to be putting a lot more effort, and the parents are going to see like the homeschooling side of it, and the camps and everything. So I feel like it's definitely going to get big.
Yeah, awesome. Hey, actually, this is probably an extremely important question of the show. We're not gonna miss turkey season, are we?
What do you think?
I was hoping not.
No, weren't you already posting stuff about like trying to get out and do some stuff to get ready for turkey?
Yeah, I put up some. I'm not gonna be very mobile, so I have to be like pretty strategic about this year. So I threw up some cameras and trying to pattern them like a deer, kind of get an idea where they're going to be at, or that way I don't have to really try to walk that far on crutches. But
no running and gunning this year though, right?
yeah, no, there won't be very much running and gunning. So
We won't be sitting in the blind though, right?
No.
Okay,
Heck no.
I didn't think so.
But no, I think it'll be good. I feel I think the goal was to walk it 10 weeks, and the opening for West Virginia is like 8.5 or 9 weeks or something, and the opening for Ohio is 10 weeks. So
yeah.
I might be running and gunning in Ohio, so we'll see.
There we go. That's what I like to hear.
Honestly, like, I'm trying to take a couple steps, and Maggie was like making fun of me the other night because I have like a really bad limp, and I'm like, I almost forget how to walk. Like,
right. Yeah.
Like, I don't know. So it's gonna be tough to like kind of bounce back. I definitely lost a lot in my left leg, and yeah, for sure, it's gonna be tough.
Badge
But
on the
I'm gonna try to kill some turkeys.
Hey, that's what matters, man. And you're really good at it anyway, so better than I am.
I'm just lucky, man. Just lucky.
In the right place at the right time.
Yeah. No, it should be good. So
Badge riding around his motorized scooter in the woods, like just chilling.
Hey, you can get on one of those quiet cats. That's what you need.
I know, that's what I really need, man.
Yeah.
But like I don't know, because I've sat on my bicycle, like my stationary bicycle, a couple times here and pedaled, and it's not very comfortable on my butt cheek right now because I'm still like super like tender around my scar. My scar is like right on my butt cheek. So,
but those quiet cats have a throttle. You can just use the thumb throttle.
I know, that'd be nice. That'd be really nice. But that'll like spoil me, and then I'll get to a GNCC, and I go to pedal the track, and I have to pedal, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, my dad got a quiet cat this past winter, and he's been mountain biking with me a little bit, and I'm on an acoustic, so it's not quite fair. And every time I get on, I was like, "Daggone, this thing is like cheating big time."
Yeah. Like when I was at Caleb's back in August, and his wife's dad had kind of like a similar to a quiet cat, and I rode the thing around like, the thing went like 28 mile an hour down the road. I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah,
but it had a throttle and stuff. And I'm like, man, this would be so nice to pedal a GNCC on.
Oh yeah.
It would be even worse because you could literally do like 10 laps in an hour. It'd be so bad.
Your lap times for just looking the track over would be like not far off your race pace.
Yeah, just as fast, dude. Like, for sure. My luck, I'd get hurt riding it on a freaking.
Oh, geez, that'd be terrible.
For sure.
Shoot.
But no, it should be good.
Yeah. So now I heard you say that you had goals to be. Did I hear right that you're trying to be back by the end of this year, or just be back going to the races?
No, the goal is to race the last 4 GNCCs.
Nice. Okay, good.
So that's the goal. I don't think I'll be riding until July.
Okay.
But the goal is to definitely do the last 4. Just because, I mean, I don't know. I still have a lot to prove for 2022, and I feel like that leaves me with 2 months, July, August, to prepare, to get back to where to and I feel like I shouldn't have any problem getting back there. Just, we've talked, and I'm gonna go to North Carolina at Caleb's for the whole summer, and just really, I guess, bust my ass to like come back and improve a point these last 4 races, and hopefully, get a ride for 2023. Because I really don't want to be done racing yet. Like, I don't want. I guess I don't want an injury. Like, I don't want to go out on an injury. I want to put in a full force effort to like really go for the championship. And I feel like if I just kind of sat around this year and didn't race the last 4, I'd be kind of upset. And but yeah, I want to go out these last 4 races and try to do the best I can and with what I got, and maybe come up with something for 2023.
Yeah. Now I know we've been rooting for you all along while we've had this show, and one thing that because we've had 2 seasons, right, Brandon, where we've done pre-shows for the series, and I've picked you to win the championship both years. So I'm not going to do it next year because it hasn't quite worked out well for us. So we're gonna I'll tamper like internally I might pick you, but like,
I would just assume fly under the radar
Yeah.
as the old guy coming in the championship.
There we go.
So you're like that guy for that Michael Parsons. You see that from the Cowboys. Like, I guess he like bought everybody's jersey that got hurt, and he's like, I want to buy a Parsons jersey. Like, the dude got on there, like, no, do not buy my jersey. Like, do not do that. Like, please do not buy my jersey.
Yeah. So. No, I think I don't think I should have any problem getting back to where I was. So, this is just another speed bump, just getting over it. So right. I've been through this before and I feel like I've bounced back pretty well. So just, do it again.
Yeah. We're excited to hear that you're actually, planning on being back by the end of this season. I mean, that's a, an accomplishment in itself, knowing what you've went through this year.
So everybody, please stop DMing Thad asking if you're probably retired.
That wasn't our fault. So we were on a show one night and a listener was like, "Hey, did you see Thad's post? And is he retiring?" And so we were like, "Oh, is he retiring? What?" So then, if the rumor started, it wasn't from us. So we apologize.
It honestly didn't cross my mind, like, just to be done. Like, I'm like, man, I want, like, I don't know. Like, even still now, I'm like, man, like, do I really want to do this? And then I, like, get with Jacoby, and he's like, I want, like, take me to the race. Like, I want to go to the race. Like, I want to go race. I'm like, and then the other day was really, like, it really hit home. He's like, he told me and Maggie, like, he like, wants to go GNCC racing. Like, I want to go GNCC racing. I'm like, all right, like, we're doing this for sure. So, retirement, like, was for sure in the back of my mind, but I don't know. I mean, I may be a little older, but honestly I felt pretty good this year. Like, down in Florida, like, I didn't feel very, like, I felt refreshed. Like, I don't know. I just felt good. Like, I was having a lot of fun, and, with him, he, like, makes it super fun and enjoyable. And I'm riding and he's watching, and I come in and he's like, "Oh, Daddy, you're going really fast today." And I'm like, "Oh, like, that's cool." Like, that to me, like, it's weird because that to me is like the fire that I need to be like, all right, like, let's keep doing this. Like, he makes the tough days easy. That's for sure. We'll put it that way.
I don't know about you, but in my experience, I feel like all of us racers have like short-term memory loss because something will happen and you start to be like, oh man, is it really worth it? And then like 4 or 5 days later, you're like, all right, you know what? I don't even know why I was thinking that. Let's get ready to race and we're going to be back out there.
Yeah, like, for sure. That's me. Like, that's me 100%.
Yeah.
Like, it definitely, it's, one day, like, I'm like, man, like, do I want to keep doing this? And then the next day, it's like, oh, like, it was funny because the other day we were on our way to my 6-week appointment in Morgantown on Monday, and I was asking Maggie, just because snowshoe has been like a blessing and a curse for me. Like, I was like, we were trying to figure out how many weeks it was till snowshoe, because I was like, man, like, I would kind of like to race snowshoe, like, at least race snowshoe.
Yeah.
And we were like adding up, and Maggie's like, were you just like joking about being done? I'm like, oh, yeah. I don't know.
Right. Well, one thing I want you to do before you retire is you got to try a motocross race, motocross national. Try to do one.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen, but I think I was wanting to try this year, but I wouldn't mind going to Loretta's and doing like 30 plus.
That'd be sick.
Dude, I'm telling you, like, I watched you ride. I watched you ride up Pyramid, and you rip, dude. Like, on a moto track, you rip. Like, yeah. I really think you have a pretty good chance for sure.
I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I think I'm a little on the older side now, but I would definitely enjoy going to Loretta's, and
that'd be sick.
I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. I think the coolest thing that you keep talking about is Jacoby, and like, that type of fire is just a different type of fire than when you were even younger, and like, it was all about, because racers, like, it's all about me. I got to get this. I got to go. But then when you have, like, you're trying to, you have other people like Jacoby involved in it, and your wife, and that's like just a different type of fire.
Yeah, I don't know. People like, for me, it's been a game. Like, it's almost been a game changer for me. Like, I don't know. A lot of people said, "Oh, it'll change you. You won't like." They almost made it sound like it would change me for the worse. Like I would have less time for the dirt bikes or anything. But honestly, like he's helped me like become who I am the last couple of years. And, you know, it's see his face and everything when I'm on the podium and like listening to him play with dirt bikes and saying, "Oh, Fat Duvall the winner," and everything. Like that's cool. Like that fires me up. Like it's definitely been a game changer for me. Just, you know, with Maggie and him, and, you know, we're a pretty close family. Even my mom and dad, like when we're at the races, we're all together. Like they've been. I feel like I grew up beside my dad's. I guess being beside my dad through his pro career. So, you know, being able to watch Jacoby grow up beside mine, it's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And even like, honestly, working with Caleb, you know, growing up, me and Caleb was really like, I mean, we were inseparable. We were really good friends growing up, and we grew up our whole youth years, and, you know, working with Caleb and seeing Jacoby and crew like acting just like how me and Caleb was is scary, because like it's just they're building a whole new generation. So that's been kind of cool too, is see how Jacoby's got to grow up with other kids in the racing community and everything. And I feel like, yeah, we're stuck now. We're going to be, you know, Maggie and I are going to be racing parents, and yeah, I'm excited for that next chapter for sure.
That's going to be a mini parent.
That's cool.
I'm not like, it's funny because I'm not the mini parent. I just like sit back and watch, and like Maggie's like Maggie and my dad, they're like full on mini parents. Like dad's wanting him to race like already, and I'm like, he's 3 years old, man. We got plenty of time for this. And then we were at the moto track the other day, and Maggie's like screaming at him to go faster and go and hit the corner harder. And I'm just like sitting back. I'm like, this is funny. I'm enjoying this just because growing up, like my dad like never like my parents never pushed me. Like if I wanted to go ride, like I went and rode. I kind of grew up just kind of not really on my own, but I like just rode when I want to, like never really pushed. Like if I wanted to go race, they would take me. And it's funny because like we were always like that. And then I remember one day, dad was out on the field with me, and he was like, "You need to hit this corner like this and like this." And we got in this huge feud over like something so small. and then like all bored over, and a couple hours later he's like, that's why like I never push you. And I'm like, I understand. So I was like, I don't know, like I don't want to be that guy. But it's funny, like looking at Maggie, she's definitely like she's the racer mom for sure, 100%.
Yeah. Hey, you see a lot of them at the Stasic races already. So
last year a guy wanted to fight me and stuff, or like not fight me. He didn't. I would say he didn't want to fight me, but he got like pissed at me because I was like, ask him to move his kid over just like 2 inches, that way I could like fit Jacoby in like into the start line. And he's like, "Oh, you should have been here 5 minutes earlier." And I'm like, okay, dude, like it's a Stasic race. Like, I'm sorry. What do you want me to do? Like, got all mad at me, and I'm like, all right, dude, like this is crazy. Like, whatever.
He already had his rut cleaned out, man. He already had his gate packed and everything.
That's what he like legit acted like I was like the burden of the day. I'm like, okay, guy, like whatever. And I loved it too because Jacoby like whole shot his kid and like crashed him in the first turn and everything, and I'm like, I like put my head down. I'm like, oh my god, this guy's gonna beat my ass.
Next thing you know, guys are you'll be like seeing like 3 batteries on these bikes. Like, how do you fit those batteries in? They like modding them out.
24-volt system or something.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I love it.
Yeah,
exactly. Hey, Thad, man, we're gonna let you go. We appreciate you coming on the show tonight. You know, excited to hear the news about you coming back later on this season, and hey, man, good luck in turkey season for sure.
Yeah, you too, man. I appreciate it, and yeah, just excited to be on the show. And I know like it's always good to kind of help other West Virginians out. So I enjoy being on the show for sure.
Yeah,
That's right, man. Well, we appreciate it. Hey, maybe one day if you're ever up around the Bridgeport area, we'll have you come in studio.
Yeah, for sure. Heck yeah, man.
All right, man.
Sounds good.
We'll talk to you later, buddy.
All right, thank you.
All right, man. Later.
We'll see it.
Later. Yeah, that's really good to hear.
Yeah, that's awesome news. I honestly didn't expect him to come back this season.
I mean, I kind of expected him to come back.
I mean,
he's still got some years left in him.
Yeah,
no, this season. I mean, I wasn't expecting it this season because I mean that's such a gnarly injury.
Right.
It really was.
Yeah.
It is a pretty gnarly injury, but I mean, when you start thinking about the mental aspect of racers in general, like your first instinct when you wreck is even if something's hurt, you're like, all right, how long is it going to be until I can get back on the bike?
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, I've wrecked before, and my first instinct wasn't even like, what's wrong with me? It's like, where's the bike at, and is it okay?
That's always my first question. Like, oh, man, how bad did I tear it up? Like, I don't even want to look. Like,
yeah, like one time I destroyed one of my four-wheelers, and I broke the grab bar off on the back of my helmet, tore my shoulder out, and I stand up, and I'm good for a minute, adrenaline's still going, and then I saw my bike sitting there, and the handlebars are broke off, and then it started setting in that I'd like actually hurt stuff. And like EMS comes over and they're trying to do what they're doing, and I'm like, I don't need your help. We're good. They were going to cut my jersey off and stuff. I'm like, no, that costs lots of money. Like, I'll take this off. But naturally, my first instinct was like, oh man, we got so much stuff to replace. How are we going to replace all this? How long is it going to take me to get back on the bike?
Right.
And that was just the first thing. Like, keep pushing to get back to racing. So. It doesn't surprise me. I think he's going to do well when he comes back from summer break, and I think it's probably the best decision not to run snowshoe and give himself that time to be able to come back. But either way, I think it would be pretty cool.
Be interesting.
Yeah, and I knew he was going to be turkey hunting. That was just a loaded question I had there because I was
going to ask him. I was like, "Are you more depressed that you can't do?" I didn't think he was going to go turkey hunting either. He can't walk. I mean,
he was going to find a way. Though. He was going to find a way.
He's out there. He's like, all right, if I'm in a turkey's perspective, what would I be looking for? And he's like, camouflage himself in.
Yeah, I meant to mention, I've actually been in Parkersburg the last couple of times. Going to 2 Wednesdays in a row now, I've seen 2 coyotes cross Route 50, and I just really thought about it. I was like, I was getting ready to tell Thad, watch out for the coyotes out there.
Yeah, he's probably an expert coyote hunter too.
He probably is. Probably got a couple like stuffed in his garage.
I'm sure he does.
Yeah.
I'm sure he does.
For sure. And I think it's awesome that the whole family's included like it is. I think, having your family behind you is a really important thing. And like he was saying, I feel like my fiance, my kids hold me more accountable than I do.
Yeah, absolutely.
By the way, that Duvall was brought to you by Guts Racing.
That Duvall was brought to you by Guts Racing. Good plug, Brandon. So let's talk about Camp Coker real quick, and we'll just make our picks for the weekend. You're not going to miss this weekend's fantasy, are you?
No, I'm going to put them in before I leave.
There we go. There we go. That's what we like to hear. So, going into this weekend, we got a little bit of a sandy track, got a little bit of a, like Devin said.
What's the weather?
I don't know.
It's supposed to be like perfect. It's supposed to rain what's today? Wednesday, right? So
yeah.
It's supposed to rain tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
It's supposed to be windy on Friday and 60 something. And then it's supposed to be like 59 and partly cloudy on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the wind will help dry it out some. And then I think being 59, it might be a little chilly for the fans compared to what they're used to down south. But I think as far as racing goes,
it's been chilly down there, hasn't it?
It's been chilly everywhere.
Everywhere you've been, it's been chilly.
Florida was pretty hot. Tiger Run wasn't like super hot, but it wasn't cold either. Georgia was pretty chilly, but I think 59 is probably like perfect temperature for us to be out there on the bikes racing.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like over exhausting from heat. And I think it's going to be good conditions. And then after we go through, if it is a little bit wet, might even be a little bit better for Sunday for the dirt bike guys because we'll get some of that water out of the way. But
yeah.
So picks
on those. All right. Well, are we doing bikes or quads first?
Let's do quads first. Let's go in order.
In order.
Yeah.
Man. So it's going to come down to Bryson Neal or Walker Fowler.
Is it a 2-man race at this point? Do we see any other winners besides those two?
I mean, Jared McClure, and Devin Fehan is.
I totally forgot to mention that to him when he was on the show last week.
He's laughing right now.
I know
he's
listening.
Watching.
Yeah,
he's laughing right now. Those are the two that might throw the wrench in it. I think. But the way the two front guys are running, my opinion is we're gonna be flip flopping a lot, first and second. And I'm gonna go with Walker Fowler for the win this coming up. For what do you think?
What about the other two?
The other two, I'm gonna go Bryson Neal and Feehan.
Okay. I know you had something to say.
I'm just saying it's hard to make a choice when the top 8 guys are within 1 minute from the first guy to the last guy. But I'm going to go a little bit different than him and say that John Delata Jr. or, Hunter Hart is going to throw in that good finish. I mean, he's hunting all around it. So it's only a matter of time before he figures out how to get back to winning. So
Hunter Hart this year has been kind of a weird year for him so far. And I think as soon as he gets himself in that position where he's close to the front, then it's game time, and he could definitely take a win. And, and Glada Jr. he for sure could take a win. I would I would love to see all the parity that we can get in the sport. Right now though, it is becoming like a 2-horse race, but who knows? You could see situations where like those two guys get to racing each other and somebody else can slip in there and take a win. But for this week, I know that Walker doesn't like losing 2 in a row.
Right.
So it's hard to pick against Walker, and he won in Florida. Sandy, a little bit of sandy conditions in Camp Coker as well. So I'm gonna say Walker as well. I think Walker wins as well, and Bryson finishes second, and then I'm gonna go Glada third. I'm gonna go Glada for the podium.
Be good to see Glada.
I don't think we can count the Gator out completely either.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got the speed to do it, and he hasn't had luck his way really this year. So it could be the race.
How's he looking at the locals?
I don't know. That would assume that I was going fast enough to actually see. So, I mean, from my perspective, he's doing great. I didn't see much of him on the track.
So who's your top 3 this weekend?
So ATVs, I'm going to say Bryson Neal, Walker Fowler, and John Delata Jr.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's a solid top 3.
Hunter Hart is cussing us right now.
Oh yeah, he is. See, Hunter's like the type of guy like
we're gonna feed his fire.
We're feeding the fire. So Hunter, if you're listening and you're pissed,
use it.
Let's go, man.
Hey, Craig DeLong said that he likes it when people talk crap. It makes him ride better.
I know. That's what we've been hearing. So speaking of the bikes, Craig DeLong is somebody that I think is a good pick for a podium this weekend as well.
Yeah. You want me to go first again?
No, I won't make you go first. We'll make
Devin
go first.
Yeah. All right, I got this. Jordan Ashburn is going to win.
Oh boy.
Ben Kelly's second, and Bollinger's going to be back on the podium.
Okay. So let me ask you a question. When picking this the way you picked it, are you assuming that Ben Kelly is going to have a situation happen, or do you think that he just gets outraced this weekend?
I think Ashburn has the speed to run with him as long as he can figure out the beginning of the race. And I think that he's been working on it, and I think he's just going to outrace him.
So maybe something like keeping him in sight, because that's something we've talked about a lot before, and then we talk about a lot on the ATV side, where Walker always liked to get out front and run away from people where they couldn't see him.
Right.
And maybe if Ashburn could keep him in sight, then maybe the game changes a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, someone's definitely got to throw a tow rope out and figure out Ben Kelly right now, because he is just running away with it, and it's really not making it very interesting for us fans.
It's not. And with people like Thad out, it's made it to where the parity is a little bit less. I mean, for our fantasy game, it creates a lot of people to be able to sneak into that top 20 and score some high points. But for the actual racing, it's made it to where it's a little bit stretched out. I'm picking Ben Kelly. I'm going to pick Ben Kelly until Ben Kelly doesn't win. I think Ben Kelly wins. I think Ashburn finishes second, and I'm going to go Craig DeLong in third.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's a good thing.
I mean, he didn't finish on the podium this past weekend, but he did the weekend before. and I believe that was his second straight when he did the weekend before. So, he's got the speed. I've really liked what I've seen from him this year so far. I was really pumped to see Bollinger get his first overall podium this weekend. But in those two seem to be together a lot. So it could be a toss up between Bollinger and so for the last overall podium.
I really wish Josh Strang was back to riding, because I'd definitely be putting him.
Is he not riding at all?
No. He's still got the cast on.
That's not completely true. He was riding a four-wheeler.
Utility four-wheeler.
Yes.
I don't know if you've seen it.
And he was getting it pretty good with one hand.
Yeah.
No, I mean, because he'd be a really good one here. And, but it's hard not to go Ben Kelly. Dude's been killing it. So I'm going to go Ben Kelly, Ashburn, and man, who would be? I'm going to have to go Craig DeLong. Those guys are just on a different level. Be cool to see Trevor Bollinger get back up there, but I don't know if anyone else can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we could say there might be a couple of XC2 guys that could be capable of doing it.
Yeah, Mike
Witkowski could definitely do it, and Snodgrass could do it as well.
Has been bringing the heat, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, Barbosa was looking pretty good too.
Yeah. So I mean, man, I never thought about that. One of those guys could sneak up there on the overall podium. I think Witkowski is pretty ticked about what happened last weekend. Mm-hmm. And remember when we were talking to him about finishing 6th overall, I believe it was before he came on the show here. Right. He wasn't happy with that, and I think that his bad weekend this past race could light that fire in him to propel him to potential overall a podium position.
Right. He had didn't he crash? Did he crash or something?
Yeah, he had a crash. Yeah,
and he fought his way back to where he was. So he's definitely got the speed, and he's definitely ready. I would not count him out for a podium.
Yeah, for sure. So, Brandon,
what? Am I taking us out already?
Oh, wait. You know what we need to do? We look at the final poll.
The final poll.
Final poll is going up.
Oh, man. I thought we were going to forget about it, and then I could just get out of it.
57%. 57% say that you should be racing the Stalker bike this weekend.
Do we have a number on how many votes that actually was?
That was 223 votes.
Ooh. Oh, my goodness.
Man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So...
You know what? I say run the national bike and just ride it more. You need to get the national bike and go and do a couple locals on it. Fill yourself out.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Running, and I know you hate to put hours on
the race
bike, but
sometimes you gotta
break it in a little bit.
You gotta break it in, get used to it, get the right setting.
I was actually going to run it over the weekend. But we had to do a little bit of motor work to it. Timing chain ended up stretching on us. The motor only has like 6 hours on it, and everything has been completely gone through and redone, and it has like 6 hours on it, and we just happen to have a timing chain stretch. We're not sure what caused it. I know a lot of people have been saying that the quality of the parts they're getting nowadays aren't as good, and maybe it's just something to do with that. But we got the parts. We're putting it back together. It'll actually be finished tonight, and I'll be able to pick that up at some point. And then, like I said earlier, Micah is super awesome. So custom axis shocks, that's the way to go if you're going to be on ATVs. And he's going to work with me until we get it fixed and figured out and where I'm comfortable on the bike. So it's I don't know. It's a double-edged sword. It's like, oh man, I got all that money in that bike to be running it at the Nationals. Yeah. Every time I don't run it, it makes me mad.
Oh yeah.
But the results have been speaking for themselves on the Stalker, because I got my only top 5 this year at the Nationals on it, and then I went and got 2 second overalls at the locals, or 3 second overalls at the locals, and then 2 of them being back to back over the weekend. So it's I don't know. The poll is in, and there was quite a bit of people to vote on that and say that I should ride the Stalkers. So
I say run the national bike. You paid the money for it.
I agree with Brandon. I say run the national bike, but I also say run the national bike a little bit at some maybe not every local that you do, but some locals just to get your feels underneath of it.
Yeah, I definitely only want to run it at the ones that I know is not going to completely destroy.
So not Marvin's Mountaintop this past weekend.
Yeah, definitely
Not that one. Yeah, not that one. Oh, shoot, that's awesome.
Brandon, you gonna take us out?
Oh, man, is that time
Hey,
already?
before we do, man, episode 71, right?
Yeah.
71.
Yep.
We've been doing this thing for 15 months, and we're already on episode 71.
And I've listened to all 71 episodes.
We
Heck
appreciate
yeah.
that.
That's why you're in studio.
That's why you're in studio.
No, joking.
That is the sole reason. No, you're an awesome guest host, man. We
Man.
always appreciate having you in here and taking the time to come. We're gonna get you a T-shirt before you leave. Don't forget about that, and some stickers.
Maybe we can get it on the podium.
There
That'd
we
be
go.
nice.
We'll take that.
I'll put it on the podium.
Yeah,
That's
Brandon
right.
put it on the podium.
That's right.
That is true. Maybe I could be the next Tuesday toolbox with it too.
There you go. That'd be good.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be good. That'd be awesome. But so speaking of very awesome products, very good quality.
Let's go.
Here we go, guys. If you want great quality parts, you guys need to be running Guts. Okay, Guts seat covers. Those things last forever. Awesome traction. Awesome on your bike. And just plain awesome. Plain awesome company. So they'll treat you good over there. Hook them up. Custom seats too, man. Like if you guys need a custom build, go check them out. Seal Savers, you guys, they're awesome. Mason over there is awesome. Like I said, don't always think about your bike. Think about your hands. I mean, I ran some thumb savers this weekend. Awesome.
Thumbs nice. Good to go.
Yeah. See those hands?
Look at those Look at the palms.
Man,
Show
you
them
need
the
some
camera.
palm savers. I should have brought you some palm savers.
So I tried on a set, and I think I need to get used to them. But I'd like to
they
try.
fit a little bit on your they're a little bit, but once you get riding, you're good. All right. So, anyways, anything you're riding, protect the suspension. I mean, we pay a lot of money, right? We pay a lot of money for suspension.
Absolutely.
Protect it. All right. Use it.
25%.
25% off.
Yeah. Use the
Split
split line
line.
discount code.
Okay. Capital S.
Capital
Do
S.
it.
Split line.
Split line. All right. And
It's
then
getting loose.
I am. No, my voice. I'm sorry about my voice, guys. Got a little whatever is going on. Sunstar changes sprockets. If you guys are looking for the best sprockets around, that's one you got to hit. All right. And because obviously they're made by case hardened steel.
Yeah.
Right.
Tough stuff.
Tough stuff.
Don't ask Rodney though.
Right.
Don't ask me.
Don't ask him.
I'll fumble it.
He'll fumble it up. You got to ride. You got to ride before you can even use them. So
Hey, I use them. I ride. I mean, I race, but I ride.
he doesn't race, but he rides.
I'm gonna bring my Mountain State Championship trophy up here and just set it right here.
You want me to bring on my full gas sprint plaques and stick them right here in front?
No, plaques don't count.
no,
Just championship plaques.
Oh, well, I mean, I got them too.
You get that chip.
I got them too.
We got some old pyramid chips.
Old pyramid, yeah, yeah.
Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Always interrupting me. And guys, you have some vibration in your bars. You guys want a little cushion? Hit up XC Gear, guys. It's the best thing ever.
It really is.
You know, and they don't even do just handlebars. You get some foot pegs, anti-vibe foot pegs and stuff.
Yep.
Hook them up,
Handlebars for the mountain bike.
right? And then once you get all that on your bike, go try it out at Mountain State Hair Scrambles.
That's right.
Awesome series in West Virginia. Check it out. If you're around, hit them up and go race, go ride. You know, I guess you can be a soul rider like Rodney.
Soul riding.
Next thing you know,
Take it
he's gonna have.
I gotta get you out in the woods and get you in some shape for the woods.
I know. I need some help in the woods.
I got a quad you can come chase around on your bike.
On my bike.
Mhm.
I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, you gotta get better in the
Pretty
woods
soon
somehow,
you're gonna
right?
have a mullet to go with that soul ride. And you know what you need to do? You need to grow out what is those little what are those little things
Soul
called?
patch?
Little soul patch. some surfer shorts and stuff. That'd be
Brandon's
awesome.
getting way loose here.
Oh shoot.
Hey, want to thank all of you listeners.
Yeah.
Appreciate you watching the show. Appreciate you listening to the show. If you're listening to it
Yeah.
on Spotify, if you're watching it later, we appreciate Toby Hughes, Dusty Gaze, Abby Harden, who else? Doug Kirk, all you guys that are commenting. Definitely appreciate you guys. Thanks for listening to all these shows. Yeah, bring both. Yeah, she said bring both bikes and see what the track looks like.
There you go. You never
See,
know.
That's as easy as it gets, right?
That's right. Just like, test it out.
You just stand them on the end in that truck.
Yeah, we'll turn them sideways or something.
There we
Yeah.
go. There we go. Let's go.
Let's do it.
All right, guys. Episode 71. Out.
Peace.
What is this music? We got to get somebody to let us get some music that's like not free,
right?
That we can use because this stuff stinks.
This is what Devin gets down to right before race day. Right before he goes on the
You ever
line,
see
he's
Devin
like,
sitting on the line like this? Like,
Yeah. I'm just over there in my own little world with headphones.
yeah.
Later, guys.
See you next week.
Rising with each beat of the music is bringing little flames in the fire that keeps burning. We're inviting the night in. Welcome, my heart so full, I'm devoting myself to the night. There's no motive, we're just listening, we're existing.